Hey guys, today we're going to talk about why people hate Pitch Perfect Bumper in Berlin. Let's get right into it. There are several reasons why the Pitch Perfect movies became so popular. The films, particularly the first, captured the spirit and, for some, nostalgia of arriving at college and becoming self-sufficient. They were also a love letter to the art of cappella singing. The Bardenbellas, an eclectic group of women who formed a beautiful friendship, are the reason the Pitch Perfect franchise still holds a place in our hearts. 5 years after the final Pitch Perfect film was released, a new installment of the franchise has arrived in the form of Peacock's new show, Bumper in Berlin, which is now streaming. The 6-episode comedy contains all the elements that have made the Pitch Perfect franchise so successful. Diverse groups of people attempting to create something great, rivalries, and a lot of singing. All of this, in theory, should add up to a fun and watchable series. Unfortunately, none of this adds up to recreating the same magics as the films. Not least because the show abandons the characters who made us fall in love with Pitch Perfect in the first place. From the beginning, it's clear that this is not going to be the Pitch Perfect we remember. The first episode begins with an all-male a cappella group covering Ava Max's feminist anthem King and Queens, which sets the tone for the rest of the show. Rather than focusing on the Bellas, the Peacok show gives the men the spotlight. The main antagonist of the first Pitch Perfect film, Bumper Allen, is played by Adam Devine. He is still working at Barden University and pursuing his dream of a cappella singing with the Tonehangers. Bumper gets a chance call from Peter Kramer one day, and it changes everything for him. According to Kramer, Bumper is a well-known figure in Berlin as a result of his TikTok mashup of 99 Luftballons and Take On Me. Peter invites Bumper out to Berlin, promising to be his manager and help him achieve international superstardom. When Bumper arrives in Berlin, he quickly realizes that he is not as popular as Peter claims, and Peter is now a pariah in the German music industry. When the group's beatboxer developed mouth herpes as a result of a biological attack from a rival a cappella group, the once famous leader of the a cappella group, Das Sound Machine, became embroiled in a huge public scandal for using a sound effect board. Despite the fact that Devine is best known for his comedic work, Bumper in Berlin's jokes are as bad as its heartfelt moments. The references are out of date and hurtful, a Menendez brothers joke in 2022. Bumper's legal name is Tim, which means his full name is Tim Allen, which is a big reveal, spoiler alert. The punchline is that he wishes people would chant his real name, which is also the name of a much more famous person. Even when the comedy in Pitch Perfect wasn't at its sharpest, it was never this direct. Thankfully, some of the supporting characters shine brighter than Bumper. Hyland and Abova, who play Thea and Heidi, are outstanding. Bumper in Berlin becomes a lot more fun when the two have scenes together, which is rare. They have the banter and chemistry that is sorely lacking in the absence of the Bardenbellas. Some wondered how much better the show would be if those two were the focus. The rest of the supporting cast, on the other hand, isn't much better. Gisela is Titania from She-Hulk, but with a German accent, and Jamil plays a character we've seen her play before. Borg, whose Peter was such a fun antagonist in Pitch Perfect 2, is given little to do this time around except complain about his ruined career. However, Pitch Perfect would be meaningless without good music. Even when the story wasn't great, there were some inspired a cappella moments. Unfortunately, the song choices in Bumper in Berlin are as uninspired as the story. Along with Sweet Child of Mine, characters seeing Aqua's Barbie Girl, Amy Winehouse, and Mark Ronson's Valerie, and Roxette's It Must Have Been Love. In one of the more tragic twists, Bumper in Berlin completely destroys the franchise's iconic riff-off. Bumper and Gisela engage in an off-the-cuff riff-off that is physically difficult to watch. The theme is German songs versus American songs, which is very appropriate given the setting. However, it lacks the order and enjoyment of a riff-off. Where are the amusing category names that make fun of Glee? Between the singers and the song choices, each riff-off in the film franchise was so distinctly different and always entertaining. It's just an incoherent mess here. Throughout the scene, the sound mixing is chaotic, making it sound like a bunch of people were just beatboxing and singing over each other. Overwhelming and not in a good way. Maybe that's why earplugs were invented. Heidi saves the show once more, delivering the best musical performances of the night. Bumper in Berlin comes close to recapturing the Pitch Perfect magic when she sits down at the piano in the middle of a park and begins to sing an original song. Even though she doesn't get much of a chance to belt out this song, the show Sarah Hyland is one that people want to watch. It's a shame this isn't that show. However, no amount of Sarah Hyland can compensate for Bumper in Berlin's aimlessness and lack of inspiration. The good news is that Peacock already has a fantastic musical comedy series with just the right amount of levity and heart. Girls 5 Eva is, of course, the show in question. It's moving to Netflix for the 3rd season, but you should go watch that instead, or simply watch the Pitch Perfect trilogy again. That's all for today. We'll be sure to catch you all in the next one.